Welcome to the New Teacher Talk podcast.
We are helping you find your passion,
Learn your craft,
and share your successes.
Welcome, everybody.
How's it going, Pablo?
It's going great. Feels like I've done this before.
No tech difficulties here.
Not today.
Not on this episode.
Here we go. Wes, what are we talking about today?
Well, it's the New Teacher Talk podcast, and this episode is special because we actually hear from new teachers. We sent questions out to a couple of people, new teachers, and they sent us their audio responses to these questions, and we're really excited to introduce them to you and have them share their thoughts.
Yeah, today it's called It's My First Teaching Job.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it. It's
topic.
my first teaching job. These are two teachers that essentially we found one on Instagram.
Yep.
We like to kind of, I don't want to say troll, but I like to
That's not the right word.
search the hashtag first year No.
Hashtag first year teacher.
Is it first year teacher?
That's one
For
of them.
teacher. I got this teacher.
Hashtag first year teacher.
It is. I was thinking new teacher talk. Yes, it's hashtag first year teacher. And we found this one teacher from Texas.
Yep.
And she had a wonderful card that she posted.
Yeah, cool post.
Cool post. And on the post it says 5 years of college, 50 applications, 6 interviews, 3 job offers. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
1 dream job.
Awesome.
She took it. She's off and running. And the other works in our district.
Yeah, and so we encountered her through our new teacher orientation process, and we learned she had a blog, and we checked out some of her blog articles, and just really cool and really excited to hear from her about her first teaching job.
So the first question was, what was the teacher application process like? Let's take a listen.
Hi, my name is Melanie Raish. I'm my first year 6th grade teacher from Fullerton, California. So the teacher application process can be a bit vigorous. You'll need to become familiar with a website called EdJoin. And EdJoin is a website where you can apply for not only teacher positions, but any position you can think of that works for a school district. I also highly suggest that you make a profile on EdJoin because you can upload documents directly, such as your resume, cover letter, letters of recommendation, anything you can think of. It'll just make it easier for you. So once you finish applying to EdJoin, the school district will contact you for a screening. And the screening is not the actual interview. The screening is just to make sure that you pretty much deserve an interview. They're just trying to make sure you're not a crazy person. They want to know your experience, and they want to start hearing your passion. So I highly suggest, you share your knowledgeable experience and you sound passionate at the same time. So when you get through the screening interview, then you get an actual interview. And this interview consists of about 4 to 6 people on a panel, and this can include people such as the principal, vice principal, office managers, resource teachers, etc. And they'll be asking you a series of questions as well to see if you're a good fit for the school. Also, I suggest that you come prepared with a QR code to share, and this QR code should have a Google Drive folder specific for that school and interview that has your teaching portfolio, your demo lesson plans, etc. Because this will show them that you know technology, and this will make you stand out from everyone else. So, after all of that, if you make it past the application process, the screening, the interview, then you get a demo lesson. So, for example, I had a demo lesson that had a 15-minute time frame, and I had to create a math lesson to teach in front of 6th graders. It went by super fast, so don't be offended if they cut you short as well. So, by the end of this process, I felt I had just jumped through hoops of fire and went through so many twists and turns. Just remember the reason why they're having you go through such an extensive process because the district is really good. So just stay confident and remember that you're making it through those extensive rounds for a reason. I also highly suggest you network and make relationships because the more they know you, the more they want you.
So what stands out to me from this is the QR code with the link to the Google Drive folder of like resources like a resume. I mean, that's like a mic drop right there.
Boom.
Like Melanie's like, here's what you should have. To me, that sends a message. And it also might be a signal to the panel that you're a fit, or maybe they don't know how to use a QR code. Then you're like, oh, I am maybe not a good fit because I'm more technologically advanced than my interview panel.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, before we went on air, but I don't know if we could hang with in this interview
Probably.
process.
That's awesome.
I mean, and this is, just to be fair, this is the California process.
Yeah.
Obviously, each state probably has a different format, or I'm sure they're all pretty similar, but obviously have their uniqueness as well.
But that did resonate with something we talked about, is bringing materials to your interview. For think about what they'll want to see, or what, if you bring it, they'll remember looking at. Yeah.
Well, the Fullerton School District definitely got a good one here. You got it right.
All right, so now we're going to hear from our next new teacher guest, and you'll be delighted to hear what she has to share.
Hi, my name is Emily Pierce, and I am a first-year kindergarten teacher from Central Texas. The interview process for me was really, really long, but really quick all at once. It was a very odd feeling. I put in over 60 applications total, probably like across 10 or 12 districts, somewhere along those lines. It seemed like absolute months before I heard anything about an interview. I think I probably started applying roughly January, which is when I first started student teaching, and I did not hear from any districts until May, I want to say, very beginning of May, something like that. It was terrible. It was so nerve-wracking. In total, I had one video interview. I had 5 in-person panel interviews. Actually, no, I had 4 in-person panel interviews. And then I had 1 interview with my current superintendent. And interviews are very interesting. Interviews are very stressful. They are very nerve-wracking. You don't know what you're doing. And they know that. It's when you're a first-year teacher, they know that you probably don't know what's happening. You have your student teaching experience. You have everything under your belt from college. But that doesn't always mean that you're going to know everything. And it's okay to go in there and tell them that and be like, hey, I don't know exactly what to do, but here's how I think I might do it. And that's something I had to figure out whenever I was going in interviews. I didn't figure that out until my 3rd or 4th interview, that they didn't expect me to be perfect. I absolutely hated my video interview. I hated it. It felt so stale and cold, and I had no way of getting a true feel on the district I was applying for. And I just felt like it was so impersonal, and I didn't like it. As much as I hate large crowds, and I hate them. I hate large crowds. I would go into 1.5 million more panels before willingly doing another video interview again. I didn't like it. As for my other interviews, I actually was made to feel really welcome in roughly 5 of them, roughly 4 out of 5. Walking into the interview with my current district, I absolutely knew I was home. I walked in, everyone stood, they shook my hand, they looked at me, they looked at my portfolio, they talked with me like I was more than just a robot or just, nothing. They just made me feel like I was a person and that I was made for it. And it was magical. And I ended up getting chased out to my car to come back in to get the initial offer. And it was really, really funny.
It was just definitely a testament of your hard work, Emily. That's why you got the job, and it was the right one. I mean, you started putting in applications in January. And didn't hear till May. That's got to be just painful.
That's unnerving,
right?
Unnerving, yeah.
Right, and those were the words you said as we were listening, but you don't have to be perfect. I love that you said that. You do not have to be perfect, especially when you're seeking out your first job. You don't necessarily have the experience, and it's just okay not to know, and just to give your thoughts on how something should play out, whatever the scenario that is played out in front of you. So I thought that was really good advice. Just be you.
Yeah.
Just be you.
It was interesting. I think the video interview, I mean, in spite of all your kind of emotional reactions, just to the mechanics of it, the fact that you said you couldn't get a feel for the district, I mean, that's a good thing to keep in mind, is the principle that you're interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. And so if you don't know if it's a good fit from the interview, that should be kind of like a word of caution, like, hey, I still don't know what they're about. So I think, she said that a couple times, and one of the ways that you said that, Emily, was the fact that it felt like home when you went into the right interview, and people stood, they looked you in the eye, shook your hand. I mean, those little signs of respect speak volumes.
That's right. Panels over no, what is it? Panels over video interviews.
Yeah, for sure.
For life.
Yeah. And then just another thing I took away is from like trying to manage the emotional turmoil of this journey. Like she mentioned stress and the months of waiting and stress in the interview, and that came up.
Yeah.
So you just have to figure out your like personal path to managing your emotions along this journey.
Yeah. Thank you, Emily. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for question number 2.
Yeah, question
because
number
those
2.
were so good. So question number 2 is, so once you secured your jobs, what was one of the first things you did that was job related? What did you go out and do?
Let's hear it.
So once I secured my job, one of the first things I did was get my fingerprints done. I know I just so badly wanted to go home and celebrate with my friends and family. I knew I had Costco pizza waiting for me, so I wanted this delicious celebration. But I knew I need to get that done ASAP. Also, because the sooner you get things done like that, the sooner you'll become official. So, after all of that craziness, just take a second, take a pride in what you just accomplished, and go outside and scream, "I did it! I did this, and it was just super awesome." Just take pride in what you accomplished. Also, I decided to text and contact my past mentor teachers in the past, and they naturally congratulated me and gave me more advice. So it's always good to be on the lookout for classroom supplies, but now that I was official and knew my grade level, I was able to shop more easily at places such as Target. And I can tell you now, you cannot stop thinking about your classroom. You'll think about it so much that when you start planning, you'll start planning in your sleep. It's really fun, but it's also an addicting process.
Melanie, you were excited and I'm all pumped up from you. You go and get your fingerprints over Costco pizza. Come on. But I hear you. You were doing the right things. You were tying up any loose ends, and you wanted to make sure that you were really hired. Yeah. And you did all of you jumped through all the hoops that you needed before you went and celebrated. And I love how you went out and kind of communicated with all the people that helped you along the way. And that's exciting. I'm excited. It's almost like I want to get hired somewhere else, but I don't. I'm good.
Yeah. I like, and I'd like to know more about how you plan your classroom in your sleep. I definitely know about like teacher dreams. Like before the school year starts, I would have these dreams about like classroom management nightmares. But I've never planned out my classroom. That's awesome. I mean, you're working overtime.
Good stuff. It. I'm pumped.
All right. And we're going to hear the same question from Emily.
So the first thing I did whenever I got my offer, I called my mom. She was actually on the phone with me when someone from my panel came and like tapped on my window out in the parking lot to ask me back in. I know I screamed. I screamed very loud. I scared my mother. I probably scared the poor woman that came out to get me. I probably looked insane, more than normal, but I was so excited. I didn't know what else to do. I was just like, Mom, oh my God, Mom. And I just kept going over. Mom's like, stop it. Just go, breathe, Emily. Hang up with me, breathe, and go inside and call me back. And so we did that. I looked insane. There was no way I didn't. Once I got the official offer, because that wasn't my official offer, that was like the offer to go talk to my superintendent. And from there, I would get the official offer. My district works like that. I turned in my paperwork. I had the official offer, all that fun jazz. I immediately started getting resources together for my classroom. My mom was a kindergarten paraprofessional for a very long time, like I think 3 years maybe. It was a good amount of time. And she had saved all of this stuff for me. And I had been acquiring things since I was 18 years old to put into my future classroom. But I just organized everything out. I figured out what I liked. I started figuring out what I wanted my room to look like. And I started building this world for me and my students. And it was just this big, amazing thing. And it was like everything I'd ever worked for was finally coming together. And everything was happening. And all of this hard work I had done was finally something. I was a teacher. And that was a word that I wanted to correlate myself with so badly for so long. To finally have it was just this out of body, amazing, I'm not a parent. I don't know what it's like to be a parent, but I had never been more proud of something in my entire life. And I can only akin it to that pride, just looking at something you've worked so hard for and just feeling that pride. And that was the first thing I did, was just to get it ready and just soak in that pride. And it was amazing.
Mom, Mom, breathe, Emily, breathe. I love it. And
Love that story.
I feel the excitement for that as well. And I just love how you were meant to be the teacher that you are today.
That's awesome.
You were gathering things since you were 18 years old. Your mom had things for you already, being a paraprofessional.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so cool. It was meant to be, and you're in the spot. You're going to be great. I remember you posting it was your first day, and I did comment on Instagram, congratulations, you're going to be great. Or I think it was going to be your first day the next day, and I just commented on Instagram. I just wanted to make that connection, let you know that you're going to be awesome. But you don't need me to tell you that. You sound great. You were selected for a reason, and just getting out there and being prepared. You were ready to go.
Yeah.
You were ready to go. You put in the work.
Yeah, and I love that you have those that recognition of feeling pride. And a lot of times it seems like in our culture, like you're not supposed to be proud or boastful, and there are negative extents to which you can take that, but just having contentment, satisfaction, feeling happiness. That's what we want for our students. That's what we want for the people in our lives who matter to us. And so it's great to hear you say, like, after all this hard work, like, I had this moment of, genuine pride.
We've been talking about core values in our leadership cohorts or program, and pride can be one of them. It sets a barometer for you. I mean, yes, there can be some negative stuff to that, but I think more so it sets the boundaries by which you can act upon things as you see them. And if you're proud of them, then just keep on that. If that's your, your superhero power, then that's you.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad that you are proud, and we're proud of you.
Yeah. I think it's attached to the core value of excellence, is knowing you've done something the best you could have.
Beautiful.
Made it. Yeah.
Beautifully stated there, friend.
Hey, so what's question number 3?
Rewind your life for a year or two and consider what advice you'd give yourself to help prepare in a different or better way to reach this point.
That's a great question, and well read by you.
Thank you.
Let's hear from Melanie.
So if I could rewind my life 2 years ago, I would be graduating college my senior year. If I could rewind my life 1 year ago, I would be graduating in the credential program. So regardless, the advice I would give myself would be to keep my head up and to stay motivated. Throughout my college career and credential program, it started to get somewhat difficult to think that I was going to end up somewhere like I am today. The more you surround yourself with people who have your same passion, the more you're going to thrive. So honestly, I wouldn't change anything because I knew what I had to do to get where I am today. I would just remind myself that it's going to be okay. It's all going to pay off in a year or two, and you'll be working in your dream school district, working in your dream career.
Awesome, Melanie. That's so awesome. And it just reminds me of my stepdaughter recently. She's entering her second year teaching. So she was in that position of going through her, teacher credential classes. And there's these struggles, these moments where you feel like there's no momentum, or you're kind of, getting wrapped up in, writing lesson plans, but not really teaching. And so momentum, just remember that, like, you are going somewhere and you are going to reach your goal. And then that brought me to the other thing is belief. You just have to keep believing, like, this is going to take you where you want to go. And I love that you said it's going to be okay. Sometimes we just have to remind ourselves of that. And that could be a mantra you just repeat. And it helps. It helps you, kind of move that stress out of your life, and you breathe in something new and fresh and positive. It's going to be okay.
It's a way to stay motivated. And I love that one of the first things you said is to keep your head up, because there's a lot of ebbs and flows and turns in the whole process. And when you just continue to keep your head up and drive through, that's good advice for your future self, or the people that are going to be listening to this program that are new teachers and going through it for the first time as well. So well said, Melanie. Well said.
All right, and here's Emily.
My biggest advice I could have given myself a couple years back is to breathe. I very rarely take a minute to breathe. School for me was such a hard process because of the job I held through most of college. I worked as a medical assistant at a assisted living community, and so I was around a very tough crowd, essentially. My job was not easy. My job was not a lot of fun. My job was very hard, and I worked long hours. Very often I'd work, 16s, and it took a lot out of me. And so if I wasn't at work, I was at school. If I wasn't at school, I was working and trying to figure out a way to do my homework and trying to get things together and trying to do my clinicals. And I rarely just took a minute to myself to just breathe. It seems so simple, but teaching is such a work of heart. Teaching is such a big part of you that self-care needs to be one of those top priorities. And that goes for teaching students too. That goes for the College of Education. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You just can't. And, taking that time for myself would have made my life so much less stressful and made me feel so much more at ease. And that's just the only thing I could have ever told myself.
Thanks, Emily. Thanks for sharing those thoughts. And that tip, just to breathe, is really like trying to be mindful, stay in the moment, don't get overwhelmed. I really appreciate your honest reflection about working long hours and working hard. And we are privileged to be in this field and to work with students and to work with other educators. And so somebody like yourself who sacrificed so much to get there, I just say thank you for your dedication and sticking it through. And that just shows the depth of compassion and strength that you have to draw on when teaching gets hard. So.
Yeah, and it sounds like you've been helping others for a long time now, working in the assisted living center that you worked at, and there were long hours. And I know there was probably a lot of trials and tribulations and things that you had to go through and overcome, as well as having school on your mind the whole time. Yeah. So I mentioned it before in the last question, but you talked about hard work. I mean, you put in the hard work. There's no doubt about it, and it sounds like you're a very hardworking person. So once again, thank you to you. Thank you to Melanie. Thank you to both of you for choosing the great profession of teaching. We applaud you. And again, thanks for taking a leap of faith with us and being on our podcast. We certainly appreciate it.
This is one of my most favorite episodes ever.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Felt like a really full, rich conversation.
Yeah. So a couple places that you can find both of them. Melanie has, we'll leave it in the show notes, down in the show notes, but she has a blog on Blogspot. Yeah. I think Melanie Reish.
Yep.
Melanie Reish blog, I think it is. Yeah. And actually, I have it in my notes. And she's also on Twitter as Miss Reish. Yep, in fact, the blog is called Miss Reish Teaches 6th.
Yeah.
At blogspot.com, and then on Twitter, Miss Reish. Yeah. And then I think Emily's, she's too tall for teacher. I got that wrong. We got you. We got you right here. Tall for a teacher. Emily, what I want to know is how tall are you, Emily? Tall for a teacher. You can find her on, one other thing. You can find her on Instagram. But the other thing is on Instagram, she has a link, I think, to an Amazon wish list. So if you click through her Instagram page, her bio, so she needs books for her classroom. It can get expensive to build a library for a classroom. Yeah. Hit Emily up there and get her some books.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, pal.
That's it.
That was a good show. Thanks again, teachers. Yeah, we appreciate it. Connect with us on social media at Pablo and West.
On Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and all the podcast places on the web like
iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Overcast.
And remember to get your free special gift at
PabloandWest.com/give. Yay!